I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to this July 15th Board of Commissioners meeting. First item is public comment. I believe I have Dan Ahrens from Valley Oak here. Would like to speak.
Yeah.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning. I was here at the council, what seems like not long ago. My name is Dan Ahrens. I'm the CEO and president of Valley Oaks Health, and we are the newly designated CMHC, Community Mental Health Center for Clinton County. Brief overview of us. We serve 11 or 12,000 people each year, and we cover 10. This is our 10th designated county in the state. Most of our model is community-based, so we're working in the schools, jails, homes, communities, bridges, all the places. We are working on finding some temporary space to have a presence here in Clinton County, and we have a whole lot of opportunities to find that space. And then we'll also be looking for more permanent space as we can build into it. So we are serving as of July 1. We do have a team of people ready to serve, excuse me, to serve the area. Contact information is through our website or our 866-6 number. And we will continue to grow into the community as time allows. And it is also important to state that we're working well with community. The previous provider, there are about 80 people diagnosed with serious mental illness that we are working on warm handoffs to get their care transitioned over to us, including medication and that kind of stuff. And then I think they had another 100-ish, maybe 200 people that are not serious mental illness, but still have some level of mental illness that we're working on transition to. So things are going well as can be expected, if not better, in working with that team and transitioning those clients that are active in care over to us. So we will, Bert has my contact information and Carol does too, and people have not been shy about reaching out, so I appreciate that. Dr. Deep Patu is a psychologist, and she's going to be the clinical director over this area, so we'll make sure that we start rolling her into some of these conversations with you all. Are there any questions I can answer?
No, I appreciate you coming to the community, and hopefully we'll have an improved level of service from what we've had with, a lot of frustration, which I know you've shared that.
Yep.
So we're excited about the
We are as well.
partnership. Cool. Thank you.
Dan, thank you.
Okay, next up is Nancy Elsey and Jeannie Newhart for animal control report.
Switched around.
We switched? Okay.
That's me, and that's
Okay, Owen and Cheyenne.
Lucas.
So we have Owen and Cheyenne.
Yes, right.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm Owen Lucas, Secretary for the Board of Directors, our Executive Director Cheyenne Taylor. Then we have some other board members here, Cindy Davis, our Board President Dean Newhart, and then Nancy Elsey and Cass Virtue. So we come to you with some animal control stats and a proposed budget that we've worked on for the 2026 year. You guys have been provided with a packet that I proposed to you. I'm not going to start directly with the budget just yet. We're going to start with some animal control stats. I do want to point out on the third page there, the animal control 2024 stats. We did have 502 calls for service, but if you do look, the city of Frankfort and then Clinton County, those numbers do not match the 502 calls, of course. I think what happened there is our system did not program and generate the right numbers. So I will try to work on that and getting you the factual numbers on that, because I do know that there is a difference between the city and the county for our response on service calls. So the 502 calls is broken down in a diagram there, which Cheyenne can speak to just a little bit on our calls for service.
Yeah, so the following page, so it would be the fourth page, you see the colored diagram, that is for 2024 calls. So, of course, our highest number that we always have are animals at large at 265 calls total for last year. But as you can see, we had, 44 aggressive animals at large, so that's also dogs at large, but showing aggression, just 4 aggressive calls, 23 bite reports. We even do livestock at large. There were 5 of those. Missing animals aren't always entered to the computer. We keep those handy behind our desks with their pictures and stuff. So obviously a lot more than 2 missing animals for last year, but we don't always enter them. Neglect only 11 calls, which is pretty good because I think we've had double that already this year. Welfare checks 59, wildlife 7. So it's kind of all over the board, but the next following sheet shows you what we've already had already this year to date. And we're pretty much already almost at as many calls as we had before. So we're already at 224 for this year.
And I'll speak on that just a little bit. With the 2025 year-to-date stats, as you can see in 24, we only had 23 bites. But if you go to this year-to-date, we're not even halfway through the year yet, and we've already got 30 bites that we've responded to and taken calls for. I will say, and I will say on this, and Cheyenne can reiterate this, is that I don't know what's happened in the county or the city, but it seems like bites are out of control. We've had numerous bites that have been pretty significant with injuries. We're trying to look into why it's happening. We don't know if it's bite prevention education or if it's just neglect of people not containing their dogs to the best of their abilities. So yeah.
Yeah, the aggressive dog calls have gotten outrageous. I mean, this is my 7th year there. I think that just every year, more and more people call about welfare checks, finally call about their neighbor whose dog's been outside on a tie out for 11 years. Like now they decide to call. I think people are just starting to get a voice, and now they're calling about everything. So I'm assuming these bites have probably been always happening and just no one's been calling, reporting them. I think people in the community are learning what to do, call police, they get a bite report done. So I think people are hearing that they know things are going to be done now when they call about it. So I think people are calling about almost every incident. But that's my I guess my opinion. Since I've started 7 years ago, we never got calls, and now we get calls every 5 seconds, and I would just assume they've always been happening. It's just probably not, it's just now happening, so yeah. And then we do, if you follow along to the next page, it does again break that down in a little bit simpler numbers for you guys. When it comes to stray intakes, the stray intakes we took under 6 months old, the surrenders, transfer from another shelter, and suitable accommodation at the bottom is if someone is unable to take care of their animals. The Board of Health has called us, said they're not able to take care of these cats, they need to be removed, things like that. So those are breaking down about. We thought this was a little bit simpler for the intake to show you guys kind of why we get them in. And that again is for 2024. So I broke it down again on the next page because I wanted to also include the outs. So our 2024 shelter stats, total cat intakes, we had 335, dog intakes 325, so almost broke even with the both of them. Total cat adoptions, 289. Total dog adoptions, 137. Cats humanely euthanized due to illness or injury, like hit by car, things like that. There's nothing that we can do for them. That's the only case that we've had to surrender cat or euthanize cats. There was only 9 that we had to euthanize last year. Dogs humanely euthanized due to illness, injury, or aggression, and simply not able to place them in a home due to the liability of them biting somebody, only 6. So that's a lot better than 15 total in 1 year for dogs and cats is a lot better than the numbers you'd get from other places. So, total cats reclaimed and went back to home, 17. Total dogs reclaimed, 157. So that means they came in as strays and they were picked up by their families. Cats TNR'd. So if we got some feral cats in, which we don't typically deal with, but if we got stuck with them or got them thrown on us, we'll get them fixed and re-release them. And we only had 4 of those last year. Dogs pulled by rescue, 16. So that means Love of Labs called us because we have a lab, German Shared Pointer Rescue just pulled a pointer from us last week, things like that. So if they show interest in one of our dogs, we're like, go for it, because then that makes room for another dog to come in. So 16 were pulled by other rescues last year. Cat average length of stay is 126 days. I know it sounds like a lot. but with the amount of numbers we get in and out, it's really not. And then dog average length of stay, 59 days. And then we can do this thing where we can figure out our live release rate. So that's the raw percentage of any animal leaving your shelter alive, whether it's adopted, goes to a rescue, reclaimed by family, TNR'd and released outside. And our percentage was 97%, which is the highest at most places that we told I've ever heard of. So we're pretty proud of that.
You guys have any questions about the animal control stats or shelter stats?
What's the discrepancy in like cost to take care of a cat versus a dog?
So it just depends. If we have to use the veterinary clinic to get them fixed, then we're basically losing money with the dog and cat adoptions.
Okay.
If we have a Purdue day and they fix them for free for us and we have room to put that animal, then just depending on how long the animal's with us, how long we're paying to take care of it, paying people to take care of it, it just really depends. I feel like if a cat or a dog comes in, get fixed by Purdue, and are only with us maybe 3 months, I would say I feel good about, we probably made a little money there, but that like never happens. So with cats at the vet, they charge us $90 to get them fixed, and our cat adoptions are like $100 to $150 at the most. And they're not just getting fixed, they're also getting FELV-FIV tests, which is around $48. Every single cat is tested that comes through the shelter because they have to know if they have that virus or not. They also get FVRCP vaccines, and they have to at least get 2. Kittens get 4 to 6. They get a fecal check for parasites, and then dogs get heartworm tested, of course. They get whatever medications they need. Most of them come in with a parasite of some sort, so they have to get a specific medication for that. If we don't have it, we have to also order that at the vet. So, I mean, they get so much. Each pet gets so much. Word of mouth is that there's 2 different Carmel vets, a couple of Indy vets, a Lafayette vet, and Purdue Veterinary Emergency Clinic refers people to us if they're going to adopt somebody. Carmel actually has our shelter on a flyer in their lobby saying, if you're going to adopt somewhere, go there, because they are medically doing everything right. They're like shocked when people take their forms after adopting to the vet, and they're like, wow, they really do all of this, because we even do feline bordellas, like dog bordellas for kennel cough, and it's like $300 for a tray of 25, and each cat gets one. So, you know, the numbers that we get a year, if it weren't for Paw Pals paying for medical stuff, we wouldn't be able to do any of this.
Gotcha.
So we really break even or lose money, to be honest. We're not really making a lot when it comes to adoptions.
And so, I guess you said a lot of details there. I won't
There's a
remember
lot
all
going,
that.
there's a lot.
I'll-
There's a lot, they get a lot, I mean, they get a lot of stuff. They get monthly
but
prevention.
3 months is where you roughly think
I would
your
feel like,
break-even
yeah, because I
is?
feel like there's a couple times where dogs come in and out pretty quickly. They've just had to come back for a booster, and then they finalize, pay for adoption, and we're done. I'm like, wow, like Purdue did them. I feel like we didn't put any money into them. We got lucky.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and I was looking at it more like, say hypothetically, a dog and cat showed up on the same day. There's a cost per day roughly, right? Like of what it costs. So is it?
Yeah, we would
cost
say
you more
around
per
$10
day?
to $15 a
Okay,
day, probably.
That's kind of what I was asking.
Yeah.
I didn't ask it clearly
Yeah,
enough.
sorry.
I got, you
Just
got-
making
that
it
was
clear
good
how
info.
much we do and how
No,
much
that was,
we don't.
that was good
make,
info.
but,
So,
yeah.
okay. No, that-
You guys have any questions about the stats or anything?
No, I just very appreciate this
Yeah.
and all that you guys do.
Thank you.
So let's get into I guess, the nitty gritty of the money. So at the first page, just after the cover sheet we have 2 budgets that we're gonna propose to you. One of them you probably are not gonna like, but it's what we came down to just because of cost and what we can maintain as a facility and what our employees can maintain as well. But also, so the first little box up at the top is a full 24/7 coverage of animal control throughout the city and county. So our wages there are $118,172. That is for 3 animal control officers, and then also half of our director's salary. Our animal control vehicle, which entails maintenance and gas, is approximately $4,000 a year for maintenance and gas. Animal control phone, of course, we have to have a phone to have calls fielded to, and also for our officers to investigate neglect cases for documenting different situations. So that's around $3,000. Our insurance for vehicles, part of workman's comp liability insurance as well is about $13,000. And then our vet expense that our shelter, as the board, contributes is about $8,000. And that just helps out with stuff that Paul Pals of Clinton County won't pay for. They will not pay for any euthanasias. So we have to cover that cost as well if we do have to euthanize an animal. Our spay and neuter expense, this comes to, like Cheyenne was saying, we are partnered with Purdue University Vet Hospital, and they do all of our spay and neuters for free. We get approximately 2 dates a month out of the year while the students are in class, but we also have to expect some expense to that as well with spay and neuters, because not all the time can we get animals in there. So we have approximately $4,500 budgeted for that. And then our payroll expense, that is just payroll taxes and so forth, is about $9,000. Our utilities, so that's, of course, water, lights, anything you can imagine that comes with having a business or a building, is around $9,000. No, $12,000. My apologies. So we got a breakdown of $171,997. Which that's a lot of money, which we're trying to stay afloat there with that budget, and it's going to be pretty hard, but we're going to try our best. But we have another budget proposed to you, which is the one that we're probably going to have to cut out weekend animal control coverage, which comes at a, basically we'll have to cut it out from 4 p.m. Saturday all the way up to 8 a.m. Monday. So that means basically no one will be available for fielding service calls that may come up over the weekend. So that just breaks it down. The only thing really changes on that is the cost of our salaries. So that brings it down to $112,213.68. Again, that's still 3 animal control officers and half of our director's salary, which comes down to a cost of just at $165,000, almost a $6,000 difference that will be cutting out of our budget. And below there you can see our salaries that we do pay our employees. What I will say, and I will speak on this, is that we can't afford to pay a god amount of a salary to somebody, but we try our best to make sure it's a livable wage that they can live off of. What I can say is that we have increased 2 of our animal control officers' pay, just because we've learned that you get what you pay for, but also they don't stay. So if we're paying them $15 an hour, they're probably not going to stay, because I will say for someone that's did animal control for 3.5 years, it's not an easy job. You put up with a lot of issues and a lot of people that don't really like you, and so it puts a lot of stress on our officers. So we did increase their pay, I would say a good amount, which comes with a cost, of course, but we're also not having the turnover rate like we used to have, where an officer would be in there for 3 months and then quit on us because they realize that the job isn't for them or they just can't handle it. So I will say, luckily, we have 2 of our main ACOs have stayed with us for almost a year now, and they're continuing to strive. We actually had one of our ACOs, she left for a little bit and came back because she missed it and enjoyed it, but also because we could pay a little more to her. So again, I have attached at the back of that packet is our financial report provided to you by Beardsley's, but now known as something else, I guess, whatever that company is.
GSC.
Yeah, GSC. So that's our financial statement. That basically breaks down our cost of basically anything you can imagine from just our budget itself. If you ever want to look at that, it's a lot of numbers. But so yeah, so we're coming to you.
I feel like we need to mention the reason why we're looking at cutting out, because you were like, why did you focus on that, or why was that the area to cut out money? We did the math, and Lily has only gotten like 5 calls that she's had to go to Saturday evening through Sunday. So we've paid her like $1,000 a call basically when we did the math. because we're not getting any calls. So I want to make it clear, there's multiple of us who will be available during that time. If there's like an emergency, there's an aggressive dog that needs removed from a home, officers are saying, one of us can still come, but it doesn't make sense for us to be paying somebody that much money for only 5 calls a year, if that makes sense.
So they would just be on call?
Yeah,
Get paid as-
they would
as
call
Well,
either me or Owen, and we would direct one of us, because a board of directors, we all know also how to do AC. So even one of us can go do it. We don't even have to pay an employee to go in and do that. But if we did and one of us wasn't available, we'd call Lily, hey, she would clock in, she would go get the dog, bring it. So we're available if there is like an actual emergency, but it doesn't seem like that's ever happening. Now, knock on wood, now that we're saying we never get a call. But when we saw that and we were paying Lily like $1,300 for each 5 of these calls, we were like, this is definitely something that we can cut out of our budget. So,
Makes
So our
sense.
weekend and evening
Dean,
officers are-
can you go up there? Sorry, it's just on YouTube, so that way they can hear.
So our weekend and evening officers are on call. That's what it's, so we pay them $50 a day just to be on call.
Okay.
That's where we're incurring the expense on 5 calls. That's where we come up with that $1,000.
Okay, all right. And
actually, the weekend gets paid $150 a day just to be in town, but the girl who works evenings Monday through Friday, she gets paid $50 just to stay in town, and then additional, once she gets a call, like, it's automatic, she's getting paid more. So,
can you remind me, because you get both county and city contribution, right?
Right.
How much is the city contribution?
City is $50,000.
Okay. Gentlemen, have any questions?
Well, I've had the opportunity to work with them several times, and they're doing an outstanding job. In fact, things have improved in the last 3 years immensely, in my opinion. Their facilities are nice and clean. It's well established and ran. I know they catch a lot of grief, it seems, but for every one bad call, there should be probably 100 good calls and good things that are happening. So, I hope you guys stay positive. I know it's a tough job sometimes.
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
You're faced with the public that, most people, their dog or their cat are better than their kids. So, I give you.
It's true.
Well, and I'd
Thank
like to
you.
just add,
Nancy?
the board,
Nancy?
I mean, we.
Yeah.
I'd just like to add that the board, we have a golf tournament coming up, so we're trying to keep money coming in all the time. And we also work at the Colts games. That's so much fun, bagging popcorn, but we're always bringing in money, and we've brought in considerable this year through grants that have been written for, we're in the process of replacing all of our,
Yeah, so
Yeah, you're-
the I wrote a grant for the community foundation for $80,000, which I did receive for our kennels are 20+ years old and they were falling apart. We have 26 kennels in our big dog room, which I was only allowed to use 8 of those kennels approximately because they were deteriorating so fast and injuring dogs. So we had to fix the issue, and so I've got the grant, and so we are replacing those at the end of August with all state-of-the-art new kennels that we've got from Midmark.
and we've replaced all of our isolation kennels because they'd taken a beating too. So we've got all new kennels for them and
kennels for our
and
puppy
new
room.
kennels for our puppy room. So we've done a lot by just getting money coming in that is one-time money.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I greatly appreciate the report. I think this is the first time we've received one at this detail, and this is exactly what we need, so fantastic. Obviously, we won't make any budget decision
Yeah,
today,
of
right?
course,
So, but
of
we'll
course.
take this into consideration as we put ours together and submit it, so.
Yeah, thank you for all you do.
Counselor Carol Price is here, so she was able to hear all that.
And if you guys have any questions, get a hold of us, and we'll be
Yep.
more than happy to sit down with you and talk.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next up is Stephanie Harshbarger with a kiosk agreement. Good morning.
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 So the kiosk that is outside of the clerk's office, that was provided by the Indiana Bar Foundation, I had reached out to the Indiana Bar Foundation to let them know that we were moving over to the annex, and we would not be able to take that with us. I did suggest the Frankfurt Public Library, that's only like a block away, if they would want to take it during that time. They reached out to the library. The library was gracious enough to take that and house it for us while we're at the annex. So what you have before you is the agreement that they'll take that while we're over at the annex.
Yep, so this is the temporary relocation agreement. We originally signed the agreement that put it here, so
Yes.
this is just relocation. So it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
If we have any motion to approve the temporary relocation agreement.
So moved.
And second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. We'll get that signed.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Liz Stitzel with area plan update. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't have much this morning. We're kind of between things on unsafe structures. So unless you have anything for me, I'll be short and sweet.
I don't have anything. Okay.
Well, you know where to find me,
Yeah.
and I'll have to check with Kat, but I'm guessing we'll probably have some stuff at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Move on to Rick Campbell with highway update. Yeah, you're more than welcome to leave.
Morning.
Good morning, Rick.
Morning, Rick.
I have the notice to proceed for community crossings, Phase 2 of 2024. I never got it signed. And I have the closeout for the same community crossings that need to be signed.
Okay.
All right.
Well, bring him up here. I guess the closeout, we probably need a motion for. The original one, we don't, because we would have had a motion, just,
Motion to approve.
all right.
Second.
All right, motion to approve the closeout. We'll get both of those signed for you after, Rick, here.
We're doing a little mowing right now, and Reith Riley's on gas line doing some patching and stuff, getting it ready to pave. And we'll do the same thing with Mulberry Jefferson, but they're already here working.
Okay.
We're hauling a little bit of stone so we can make some pug here in 1st of August.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Rick. Any
Thanks, Rick.
questions?
No.
Nope, none? All right. Move on to old business, and we have our fuel bids. I'll run through the numbers here real quickly. We had 2 bidders. The first was Newton Oil, and their gas price was $2, and I'll round it up to 30 cents. Their diesel price was $2.55, and then we had Heritage Oil at $2.35, and their diesel price was $2.59. So roughly a 5 and 3 cent spread there. That equates to $5,000 difference between the high bidder and the low bidder. Couple things to add context. We obviously have a new system, so we've been utilizing some tracking. Our original RFP, the proposal we sent out was for 80,000 of gasoline and 110 of diesel fuel. But right now, we're on pace to utilize about 60,000 of gasoline and 95 of diesel. So we'll have some carryover volume into 26. And I've spoken to the bidders, and they're willing to work with us in terms of our start date for 26. And then also adjusting our volume down to contract to 45,000 of gasoline and 80 of diesel. That way we don't have multiple years where we're carrying over large volumes into the following year, if that makes sense. So we'll try and get it, we'll know more after this first year. For those that utilize the fuel, we basically have always bid that 80 and 110 because those were the numbers given to us by our previous supplier, and we didn't have a good metric for actually tracking what was going on. So this is our first year of knowing what we're actually using more accurately. So once we get to the end of the year, we'll see how close this is to our mid-year projections, and then we have some flexibility. So, any questions or comments regarding the fuel bid
Good.
from you guys?
Oh, I think good.
So do we have a motion to select one of the bidders?
I move to approve the low bid, which would be Newton.
Okay, Newton Oil at the low bid, which would be $2.30 on the gasoline and $2.56 on the diesel. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion will carry 3-0 on that. We will inform them they had the bid. Quick note for, which I didn't bring it, remember, if you're doing your fuel budgets, those are the gasoline prices. That doesn't include the tax. So there's tax on top of that. I want to say for the gasoline, it runs roughly around 40 cents per gallon. And then on the diesel fuel for the mainly EMS, you're probably looking at about 60 cents. And I think on Rick's, because he has on-road and off-road, it averages out to about 40 cents. So consider that with those numbers when you're putting your budget together of what you need to put in there. So if you have any questions, reach out. I have all the spreadsheet data. We're tracking it every month, so I can get you what you need for your department if you need it. Okay, we have a couple items under new business. The first one is new APC appointment. I was previously on that, and with a lot of the life changes I've had to experience this spring going in the summer, I've just had to start to give up a few things. So I resigned at our last meeting. I believe that was July 2nd. So now we need to make an appointment from the commissioners, and I believe Commissioner Myers has stepped up and is willing to serve on that. And so I guess we need a motion, unless he has some comments he would like to make for that position.
No, maybe your meetings may get a little longer, Liz.
We had a few 3-hour ones this last year.
I just think before he goes too far, I'm going to make the motion that Kevin be approved for that.
Okay, I'll second that.
Now you can comment.
Well, 2-0, we'll go 2-0. You'll abstain from voting for yourself there. So 2-0 to Kevin will be appointed to the APC going forward.
Don't want to give you room to wiggle out.
Next item, we have our EMS clinical site agreement. This is between Clinton County EMS and the town of Sheridan. Anything you want to add to this, Stephen?
Just gives our paramedic students an opportunity.
There's no chance that's going to catch you. Get out from back there.
It just gives our paramedic students a chance to do clinicals at Sheridan Fire Department.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we've done, how many? 2 or 3 of these, I think, at least.
Maybe
maybe
more.
4?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So entertain a motion to.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. Okay, department heads. Do I have any department heads that'd like to go? Melissa?
I can be very brief today, too. We are kind of in a good zone right now. Obviously, fair is going on. Updates on that, just daily food safety rounds are being made. So thank you so much for getting me that food inspector, because if not, that would be me out there every day. So I'm really glad that there's somebody out doing that, and good experience and expertise on that. Working with the fair team to still can focus on the sanitation. Gray water is a big issue in terms of the disposals, but they have put the fair board has done a good job of giving our vendors the opportunity to properly dispose. Now it's just really a matter of enforcement and education. The other part of that is the hand washing stations, and that's one thing certainly I think we're still really struggling with. I made rounds last night, really working around the cattle barns and the other barns, where we've got our shelter right there with food serving. The Fair Board has done a great job of doing signage. So if you pay attention and look out, there are signs reminding people, after you touch the animals, wash your hands, but we don't have the facilities to do that. So that's going to be one of my focuses for this week. And just also working with our vendors. Our food vendors are great. They know hand hygiene. They know sanitation. It's really about getting the public to engage, right? A lot of those kiddos are dealing with their farms every single day. They're used to, being out with their animals and running in.
that's different than having the public come through. We're rolling a stroller through the barn. We have little ones that are touching, and that's just really that chance for transmission. So that's a big issue. I hate, or I'm disappointed that I don't get to do this in front of the Humane Society, but I just want to say the Clinton County Health Department is working closely with the Humane Society. The process to do an animal bite, we see this from the health department as well, exactly what they were presenting today about animal bites and the aggressions. We have to report each and every one of those to the state. So the process is that an animal bite is initiated, a form, usually either by the hospital, by law enforcement. That gets to the Humane Society, then that gets to us, then we get it to the state. So, there's multiple hands, and what we're seeing is there's a gap in the process. And so I'll work with our Board of Health on our next meeting, it won't be this meeting here, but just trying to address that gap. I think is a long-standing gap. And I hear from Humane Society, their frustration, number one, about funding. Health department does help and step in whenever we can. If it's a question about euthanizing, there's a rabid raccoon or a raccoon we don't know a rabies status on, obviously nobody's going to step up and pay for that. So that's an area where the health department can step in and say, we know that this animal needs to be, instead of you bordering it for the next 10 days, humanely euthanize it. The only way to do a rabies test, obviously, is on a deceased animal. So if there's that question, that would be another thing that we could step in on. But at the same time, there's a gap that folks want to come to us to pay for their boarding and their vaccines, and it's like, that's part of that ownership of the animal. So definitely a lot of support that we're trying to give to them. Getting very familiar with the Indiana code. I'm sure Tom sees a lot of emails going back and forth, but there are several codes that address dog bite liability. 1520-1-4 also moves it to a criminal offense. It's a misdemeanor C. If someone knowingly doesn't properly care for their animal and then it goes out and bites. And I'm telling you, that happens a lot. It escalates all the way up to a Class A, but what I see in the gap is who is tracking and enforcing that. Again, Humane Society really gets put in the middle of, is it law enforcement? Is it the health department? Is it them? And so I think we have areas to make improvements and just make our community safer. That'll be a work thing in the future. So just want to give them our support as well. And then also just their authority to support, and their authority to know that they don't have to necessarily come to me to have that authorization. Our board meets next Tuesday, so if anybody is interested, we'll be meeting at 5 p.m. And I think that is all. Are there any health department questions for?
Don't have any. Great update. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Renee? Hold on, we're in department head, sorry.
Oh.
Unless you're a new department head, I don't know yet.
Good morning. So obviously Fair Week this week. We've been in contact with the Fair Board a lot and 4-H as well. I did request from the National Weather Service their assistance for the week with tracking. So each morning I get a weather briefing from the National Weather Service through email. I forward that to Hillary, Hannah, and some of the others from Purdue Extension and 4-H. Saturday I went in, with the storms coming in and was in contact with the National Weather Service. I had called them and they called me. So just tracking those things. I talked to them on Sunday. Dispatch had also contacted them on Sunday. So just trying to make sure that, we're all, even though everyone has cell phones, we're trying to still make sure that we're prepared for anything moving in. So I've also requested that coming up for the Hot Dog Festival, Colfax at their Old Hickory Days, as well as Rossville. It's just another preventive. I would rather be safe than sorry and have that immediate contact. And I can always call the National Weather Service anytime, but I just thought it was important to start doing that when we have special events. Other things through EMA, our first report, it's called SEER, Special Event Assessment Rating Report. It's due at the end of August, and I have that completed. it's pretty easy, but it's really just including all of the special events that happen throughout the county. So all of our festivals and all of those things, and it's documenting different things throughout. So we had to report those dates for next year, so those were due. So that's done. Other than that, can't think of anything else. I am signed up to go to a training the beginning of October. It's for public assistance. It's through EMA, public assistance, and also damage assessment, to how to evaluate damage assessment. So it's a 3-day up in Valparaiso. Other than that, I don't have anything unless you have anything for me.
No?
Nothing.
No?
Good, nice
Okay,
job, though.
all right, thanks.
Any other department heads? Rich, I got a couple for you.
Yes.
If you don't mind.
No.
So I know, or I've heard that we have some open deputy slots, and
Do.
I believe we had one maybe that we had hired, but that didn't work out, if I recall. Went to the academy.
Yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
How many do we have open right now?
2.
Are you actively looking to fill them, or what's the plan?
Well, we actually sat back a little bit. I talked with council, and we talked about this at the last council meeting, that we're going to, well, I think it was 2 council meetings ago, that we're going to kind of hold off until we see what the budget looks like for 26. We're kind of working with council to kind of hold off on those until later this year, or maybe here in the near future, but it's one of those things that we're kind of holding off to see what our budget looks like, and then get those positions filled with another process. And we did have somebody at the academy and left in the middle of the week and, resigned, and it was something that was unfortunate, but, it's like, I think you've heard it before, sometimes that job's not for everybody.
Yeah.
We did talk to council and getting that, those jobs filled, but we're kind of holding off till we get through budgets, and then we'll probably open that process sometime this fall.
Okay, well, I know I'll speak for myself. They can chime in. I fully support filling those as soon as possible. I mean, I think if we look at the budget challenges we're going to face, I can't imagine that taking people off the road of law enforcement.
No, I don't think it's taking
Uh,
people off the road. I think that's a misuse of words. It's about getting our budget set and then putting our budget as a priority and opening that position up here in the next couple months. I don't think it's something that we have to do absolutely right now. We've talked with staff from the captain, the chief deputy, and we're okay. And we need to be pretty selective on the selection process. Has to be pretty stringent. And it's disappointing not to have that person finish the academy, but we'll definitely have those positions open here in the next few months. But I think it's
From
something we have to
our
look at.
perspective, we support the idea of.
I appreciate it.
And
We will get
so
it done.
I want that known to the mayor deputies out there, as well as the staff, that it's not getting held up here. We haven't implemented any hiring freeze going into 26 or anything like that.
No.
We support the idea of getting those filled as soon as possible and working through that, so.
Yep, we'll definitely get that, we'll take a look at that, but, and talking with council, it was, I mean, they agreed with us, and, so we're gonna get those positions filled, but, we wanted to kind of take a look and see what we're looking at for 26. And we're in that process now of talking about budgets.
I support what Jordan has said very much. Obviously, safety issues in our county are our first priority, and, to let those slide because we anticipate something, I really don't want, I don't want to cut back on our emergency services and so forth. That's where we don't cut.
Absolutely.
And, the overtime is expensive also, so, if you're using overtime to fill those positions or to take care of something, I don't want to put you in that position. So I support putting them on the road as best you can.
Very good.
I was a little surprised that last meeting, Sean came up and said that we hadn't ordered any vehicles for 25.
We did order through Kelly, but through Kelly Chevrolet, they asked it, we've talked with them, and we didn't know where we were going to be at for 25, but they always order extra, and they come in at times, but, and we had that conversation. I know it's not a specific order for us, but they did have extra vehicles, and we found, we talked to the GM rep, I think the chief deputy did, and found 3, there were 4, now there's 3, but they're very far and few between this year. but we didn't know where we were going to be at with vehicles this year. So we are working on it. We do have 3 up in Ohio that can be transferred over to Kelly.
Well, I would say we move forward with that. Here's our minutes from, I believe, July 2nd of '24, and we approved 1 Traverse in '24, 2 Traverses in '25, and 4 Tahoes for '25. So, again, this, I don't want it to be that the commissioners held up vehicle purchases for the department when we approved all of that last summer so that it could be in, the wheels could be in place for it. So, we can send this to you so you have a copy.
Appreciate it.
And you can see it. I heard that we're having a little issue with the janitorial service over at the jail, part-time employee. Are you aware of this situation?
You got to tell me the situation first, because I don't
believe
think
it's
there's an issue.
The individual that has been cleaning the jail as well as dispatch area, and they were told they are no longer allowed to clean the dispatch area.
I don't think that's the case. I think the situation is that dispatch is totally separate from the sheriff's office, even though it's in the same building. That's not a part of our budget to have one of the employees at the sheriff's office going and clean that. I think there's some personality issues that created an issue, and I think Renee, I mean, we can have an open conversation here, that there were some personality issues inside from dispatch, not with Renee, as far as, but I think individuals. And then that person was made to feel very uncomfortable with the expectations from some of the personnel in dispatch. So if her job description says dispatch, then go in and clean dispatch, take care of whatever and she was, until there was a personality issue there inside dispatch.
So would you rather this job description be amended so that it fits to clean the facility? Or would you rather this part-time position have the hours reduced and then Renee pay for her own out of her budget? Because if she's been cleaning dispatch all these years.
She's only been there less than a year. This is a new person.
In general, the
Yes.
position, not the individual specifically. So they're doing, I think it was 28 hours roughly to do the whole facility. So it feels like they don't need the same amount of time if they're not doing the same amount of work. I mean, we're all listening to whichever option you want to choose. And I understand the budget perspective. So if going forward, you're saying, hey, we just want one person to do the whole facility, then Renee's budget will start paying for a portion of it, and then the sheriff's budget can pay the remaining.
Can we do that? That sounds fine to me.
Okay.
I mean, I think that would be an absolute clearer description for her or that person as an employee to understand that they do clean dispatch as well. So amending
So we'll just amend the job description, keep the one
Yes.
individual, and then have their pay come from the 2 budget items.
I think that would be.
And that way
I
it's
think
fair
that
to
would
the
be
sheriff's
better.
department.
I think it would be
You're paying
better.
for your usage, and then dispatch pays for their
Absolutely. And I think it's truly more of a personality issue, and I think that there was a couple things, and I think we've already talked with Renee about it, and I think that can be resolved pretty quick. I think sometimes we forget that we should be a little more polite or understand, everybody's job rules, but I think that it should be amended so that it would include it, and I think that would be fine.
Okay.
And I think Renee would be okay with that as
I don't
well.
understand how we got in this position to begin with. We've been doing it for years. I mean, it's been
Well,
going
I think
on.
there's been issues in the past as well, and then we just kind of work
But we
through it.
address issues. To change everything seems like we're going through a whole lot of frustration, really for nothing at this point. I mean, it's been going on for multiple years, and all of a sudden
Right.
somebody doesn't get along with somebody, and we're changing the whole system now. I guess
Well, I don't think we're changing the whole system. I think we're probably, from what I've seen, and I think the elected and the department heads have seen, is that the job descriptions are pretty specific. And if we don't stand by that, then we need to adjust it and include it. And I think it needs to be included. And because we've stood on these job descriptions.
Yeah.
I mean, we've really, literally added those in the last year to year and a half. And I think that if the job description is to do central dispatch and the sheriff's office, I think it just needs to be added. I don't think it's that big of a jump.
I don't have a problem with that, but just because somebody has an issue, we don't need to change job descriptions. If we have to tell somebody specifically everything we have to do in the job, we're getting out of control here. So,
I agree
the tail
with you.
doesn't wag
I
the
do agree
dog.
with you. I do agree with you.
The tail doesn't wag the dog here, so if I don't get along with somebody, I don't need to have the job description rewritten so that it says Bert Weaver's supposed to empty that trash bag there, and that trash bag there, and that trash bag there. Come on,
I get it. I understand. I'm
now at this
with you
point,
in
now we're
a lot of
frustrated
ways.
because if we cut back what we're doing, like Jordan says, then we need to cut back the hours of that person. So now we got to change payroll. Now we got to change all the other things. And so this, in my opinion, shouldn't have happened to begin with.
I think it should have been included in the beginning.
Well,
Honestly.
again, I can't think of everything, or we can't think of everything that needs to be done in a job. If you have to be told to write a ticket because you went over 65, or you have to be told to do something else and put that in the job description, we're getting out of control here. So,
I agree with you in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Mr. Weaver, I sure do.
I think we can make that, we learn that when the job descriptions are done, sometimes they don't encompass everything. So we need it to be a little more holistic. I do believe that it could have just been handled a little differently in terms of figuring it out internally so that we didn't have to get involved to try and come to a solution, and that we don't have to have this conversation today. Like
Sure.
That's
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, from the beginning, like from when Central Dispatch was in the jail, it had always just ended up being encompassed. And I have no problem, like I have money in my part-time budget. I have no problem helping fund that position. I think the disconnect was the janitor came to me with an issue of like, are people walking laps when she was mopping? And I said, absolutely, I'll take care of that. That's not an issue. And on that day, and then I didn't see her for a couple days, and I said, because I told her I would address it. And so then I said, hey, I thought we were okay after Monday. And she said, well, I don't have to clean dispatch anymore. And I never heard that from anybody other than her. And so, and no, I didn't contact you either because I had never heard from your agency. I heard it from, the employee who told me she was told then on Monday that she didn't have to clean dispatch anymore. So, but I have no issue paying like our portion of 5 hours or whatever for that because we do have that. It was just there was no communication on that. I heard from the employee and no one else. So
I understand the situation, and in my opinion, we should have addressed the situation differently than having all of us involved.
Sure.
in
I
this.
agree 100%.
I think you're adding complexity to it they're building maintenance, not, the janitor of the building, not just certain departments in the building.
And at the same time, we got to use common sense. So, if our job descriptions are to do everything in detail, we're going to get out of control here. So, I think you fix it the right way if that's agreeable to you two. I don't have a problem doing it. I just resent the fact that we had to get involved to begin with over something like this.
Yep. Okay, good, Renee?
Yep.
Okay. Got one more for the sheriff. Who all has access to the commissary area?
Who all has access to the commissary area?
Yeah, who can go to the commissary area?
Corrections.
Civilians?
Civilians.
Like, could a civilian just walk to the commissary area if they came into the jail?
They'd have to unlock it. It's
So
secured.
someone would have to allow them to go to the commissary area,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, just checking. And I'm going to read something from Mr. Brett Todd's story last week, and it says, they, I assume that means Rich and Ashley, also state that despite the commissioner's public awareness of her role in compensation, they failed to provide her a formal contract, and she has not been paid for commissary work since September 15, 21, though she continues to perform these duties. Here's 2021. 22 we did not, because it carries over for 21. 23 and 24 minutes, along with the contracts we've offered for all of those years. But going back to my original question, And I guess kind of the second point in terms of she's not being compensated, that's not factually accurate. And I got a video that will play right now. So show this, Tim. Maybe. Well, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes because I got nothing but time. This is March 5th, 1408, which would believe is 2:08 p.m. in the afternoon. It's just a clip that commissary work's being done, and here I have the timesheet that shows we were clocked in as the matron during this time. So I guess this idea that we haven't been paid is not factually accurate, as I said, because we're currently doing the commissary while clocked in as matron. So just want to make sure we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, absolutely. This facility and the job and not having a contract for the last 2 or 3 years and not an agreement on a contract for the last 2 or 3 years, these things still have to be done regardless. For the care and the maintenance of the inmates and for them to have the things that they want to have, and also for the function of what commissary is the ability to provide the different things that are purchased with commissary, allowed by council and allowed by state statute, and that these things, regardless of a contract, she has decided to keep on doing it for the purpose of keeping the facility in proper, everything moving forward, moving forward for the next.
But they say you haven't been compensated is not accurate because you're clocked in being compensated on county time while doing the work.
Okay.
So really, when we go back to talking about amending job descriptions, it feels like we just need to amend the matron's job description to include doing commissary work.
That's something we need to discuss, and we should.
I'd be glad
Absolutely.
to have that.
Okay.
So, okay, I don't think I have anything else this morning. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Any other department heads? Okay, commissioner reports. Commissioner Weaver, you got it?
I have nothing to report, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Myers?
Just the North Central Indiana Regional Planning Council meeting again the other day. And not much new to report from that, though.
Okay. I'll quickly just mention, obviously everyone knows we have county fair going on. Get out there. The people have, I think we take for granted the volunteerism that goes into making that happen. Obviously we had our project with the barns that the builders worked tirelessly to get done in time, but then there's a ton of people that volunteered hours after that to make things function and work well. So appreciative of all they've done, and hopefully we'll have some good weather for this week for the fair. So that is the only report I have. We'll move on to our board business. First, we have a claim dated July 11th in the amount of $34,661.78. A biweekly claim dated July 15th in the amount of $1,059,623.63. A court claim dated July 15th in the amount of $13,256.81. We have a motion to approve the claims.
Motion to approve claims.
All right.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have payroll from June 27th in the amount of $612,365.78. And we have an EMA payroll from the same date for $1,242.
Again, motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. We have no minutes today. Our next meeting will be August 5th. You missed public comment, but I'll give you a couple minutes here if you have something.
My name's Jerry Lisco. I'm an on-time tax-paying citizen, and the reason I'm here today is I found out comments were brought up and some other issues brought up with Humane Society. I may be one of the reasons comments were brought up. I caused a lot of issues. I made a lot of comments. And just before I get started, I'm very proud. I was Army veteran, Green Beret, Special Forces, and assigned to a Black Ops Top Secret Psychological Operations Unit. So I know how to cause problems.
Thank you.
And
thank you for your service, not causing problems.
Thank you. But since then, I've had a miracle happen. Yesterday, I went around to the sheriff's office, the police department. I came to the commissioner's office. I went to anybody that would listen to complain about the Humane Society. And to put it in a picturesque form, imagine the pyramids. They're unique, they're special, they're one of a kind. They're made of millions of blocks. And I found one block that had a crack in it, and I was willing to tear the whole damn thing down and let's build it correctly. Since then, I found out, I didn't get much sleep last night thinking about this. I went in, and before you go blabbering and doing this and that, find out how things work. I found out the Humane Society is a unique organization. They have people that come in, and imagine the outside of the building is nice, looks clean, but you got animals, you got cats, you got everything in there that create noise and odor.
Yep.
And you've got to work in this 8 hours a day, and you have to deal with the public and be a pleasant person. That takes a special type of individual. I never thought about that. Then there's a whole goddamn book full of rules, regulations, and everything else they got to work with and comply with that sometimes don't make a whole lot of sense.
No, we
And
deal with
it
that daily.
takes a special person to meet with the public, and we don't have choices. We got to do this and that. I worked with some of the board members, and we didn't stay inside no air-conditioned building with comfortable chairs or nothing. We were outside in the parking lot. It was hot. It was sweaty. My underwear was sticking to my body, and I wanted to find some kind of solutions. We recognized some problems. Everybody was professional, which shocked me because I only saw the bad side, the issues. They were professional. They were willing to work with me. They were willing to find a solution. We found some things that they were going to change. And so because I took time to create a problem for them, maybe I should take time and show up here. Sorry I was late, but to say some good things about them. They're an organization that's got a tough job to do. There's no set rules or guidelines because they're under jurisdiction of nobody, but they have to work with everybody. What kind of a person would I be if I worked with them? They'd fire me real quick. So I don't know what the meeting was all about, but we need to give them some support. I know the health department, I'll be in touch with you. There's some things we'd like to change, make more simpler, and it would benefit everybody. And the only suggestion I would have is we need to publicize. Nobody in the county really knows what the health department does, what their responsibilities are, you know, who regulates them, anything else. Maybe put something out there, explains how they work and how they operate, make their job easier. And the animals, well, we regulate them, you know, so that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry, thank you for your comments.
Yeah. You missed the Humane Society, and I'm sure they would have greatly appreciated
Yeah,
it.
they'd love to
So
have
maybe
Well, I
we'll
got to
watch
go
it back.
deal with them at 11:30 this morning. I have to surrender my dog. And Kevin, thank you for reaching out yesterday. I came in here to complain, didn't expect nothing to happen. Kevin reached out to me any way I can help. And I kind of know maybe I created my own problems. I just have to understand how things work.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you for
showing
your
up.
time.
Jerry,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa, maybe you can work with Tammy and put some type of PR campaign just for the health department together. Tammy Sander, communication director, and
Yes, absolutely. So, not that Facebook is our formal communications, but I think you all know, usually I'm up here able to say, hey, I'm on day 28 or 30. Good news is I've lost track already on what day I am, but about somewhere around day 30 of my time on this position, that is definitely one of our focuses, is awareness, because I don't even know how many of my own family members have come to me and said, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And I'm like, what don't we do? And there's so many touching areas of public safety that we address. So please follow along on Facebook. We are actually on a campaign right now. We have increased in my last, what was a 28-day purview, 149% Facebook activity of viewers we are reaching. Of that, only 35% of those people are our followers, that people are already connected, people like you all who are like in the know. 65% of the people who are seeing our views right now are not connected with the health department. So we are really making an impact. I have staff assigned for weekly, where we'll probably be putting out at least 3 public connections a week. And that definitely, as I spoke earlier, is one of our big gaps, is our animal bite issue and addressing that. And I really commend Jerry from coming along here today and presenting and want to work with them. So thank you.
okay, thank you. All right, I'll say it again. Our next meeting will be August 5th. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you.